Hey, what's up? It's Ollie here. So today I wanted to make a quick video about staff, right? How do you manage a team of staff effectively, whether it's virtual assistants, whether it's employees on payroll? How do you get them to do the stuff they need to do? How do you get them to feel empowered? And how do you make this more effective than just running the business by yourself, right? Because it's a massive leap from being like a solopreneur and doing everything in your business yourself, from the design to the support to the admin, from the marketing to the sales, right? And at some point, if you want to grow, it is impossible to get past a certain threshold until you hire someone so you can delegate some of the work, right? Because after a certain point, in order to make more revenue, make more profit, the only thing that's going to let you get to that next level is by having more stuff to do in order to grow, right? So whether it's more clients or more marketing that needs to be done, like something's going to have to be delegated to somebody else, right? And it's a massive leap of faith because you're letting go of the control, right? Your business is like your baby and you're letting go of some of the control, and it's like almost the first night you hire a babysitter, right, to look after your kid, right? It's kind of scary because you've got all these questions like, what if they don't do this right, and what if, you know, they screw something up, and it can be kind of scary. So there's two things that people do wrong when they first hire, and I can admit I've done both of these things, right? And the reason I'm making this video now is because I think I've actually found a balance between both of these things, and it's benefited me massively. And I'll tag my couple of my staff members that I've hired in this video, in this post, and we can see if they actually agree, right? And these are the two mistakes. Number one, they outsource a lot of the tasks in a business to the staff member and expect it to just be massively passive, right? So you just give a load of tasks to a staff member, whether it's a VA or whatever it is, and you just let them get on with it, right? Once they're trained, once they know what to do, you just leave them. And you just expect them to work on these tasks as hard as you would work on the tasks. Okay, so that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, the other end of the spectrum, is you over micromanage, right? So you micromanage to a level where it's just like you're dictating absolutely every tiny little detail of what they should be doing day in, day out. Not just what they're doing, but the way they should be doing it, the exact details to the point where they're like, they have to do it the exact way you do it, otherwise you feel really insecure. Right, and these are both either ends of the spectrum. So how do you strike a balance between being crazily over paranoid and micromanaging and just expecting your staff to completely manage themselves? Well, this has to be done, first of all. Like, you have to find the balance, and it's really, really important because both sides are very ineffective. If you just expect your staff to just completely handle themselves, right, and you just want to just passively outsource everything, lie back while, you know, they're doing everything for you, it's a flawed method, really, because no matter who you hire, like, even if it's the most amazing A player, like the best person who could possibly be, you know, working in that position, they're only ever going to care about your business sort of maximum 70 to 80% as much as you will, right? And the reason why is because it's not their business, right? It's your business. Only you will care about as much about your business as you, right? That's just the way it is. So no matter who you hire, like, they're not, it's wrong to expect them to work as hard as you, right? It's just kind of the way it works. And at the other end, like the micromanaging side, like if you're just putting all this tension on somebody and having all of this sort of control issues with the way you want them to work, they're never going to find their own groove and really find their potential for how effective they can be with their version of doing the stuff you want them to do, right? And everybody's got a different personality, different way of working, everybody works well in like different environments and situations, and everyone has like different methods, right? Because we're all different. So you have to let people kind of work their own way that works for them to get the most out of them. So how do you strike the balance? Well, I think there's a couple pointers I can give, and I think a lot of it is just experience, to be honest. Like, there's no magic pill where you're instantly going to be like the best manager ever. I think it does take a little bit of experience, but to give you a couple pointers, There's a few kind of there's a few things that really help. Number one is something called scorecards, right? So I can't remember which book it's in, but there's a really awesome book, and I'll link it in the description if I can remember what it is. And what you can create is job scorecards for each role. So let's say you're hiring, I don't know, somebody to help you out with support tickets, right? Your job scorecard could be something like you will handle 100 support tickets a week. And what you'll do is you'll set like a minimum expectation, a kind of minimum or okay expectation, like a pretty job well done, and then an excellent expectation, right? So it could be like 80 tickets, 100 tickets, or 120 tickets, for example, right? It depends on the role, depends on what it is you're hiring for. And then all you have to do each week is just make sure they have everything they need to do at the start of the week in order to do that. And if they don't, then give them what they need. And then by the end of the week, check up with them to see if they managed it. And if they didn't, ask why not and see how you can better prepare them for the next week. And then with that scorecard, I mean, you both are very, very clear on the expectations of what they're supposed to do for you. They understand it, you understand it, and it's super clear if they actually have met the requirements or not, right? And if without those statistics, without that kind of clear cut way of breaking down whether they've succeeded or not, it can be very hazy and very, very unclear whether they're doing a good job, right? They might not know whether they're doing a good job, and you won't know either. So it can be difficult to kind of encourage someone to do more work, right, if they don't know if they're doing enough work, right? So scorecards is one thing. Another thing is kind of the attitude of how you should approach encouraging people to perform at their best. So when you're a solopreneur and you're doing everything in your business yourself, like you have all this energy, right? You wake up in the morning and you know there's like tons of stuff that you have to do with your business. And usually, like for me, the number one thing that drives me, because this is kind of my area of expertise, is marketing, right? I'm like, what am I going to do today to increase the level of connection between the people who follow me and me, right? The content. How am I going to convert as many prospects as possible into customers, right? And get sales from the people who follow me, right? In a really cool, like non-sleazy, awesome way, right? So basically get prospects to the point where they really want to do business with me, right? And how can I continue to build my levels of authority in a niche and all that stuff, right? So that's what I wake up wanting to do. So as a solopreneur, you wake up and you want to do all this stuff and you have all this energy to do all this stuff, and there's a certain number of things that have to happen in order for you to actually do that stuff. All right, so for example, it might break down to like send X amount of emails, like write a blog post, manage a few support tickets, because if you don't do that, then your prospects aren't going to ever turn into customers, etc., etc. You have a list of stuff that needs to be done. So all that energy you have to actually go out and do the stuff you're supposed to do to get results, you just turn that energy and put it into delegation. Right, so let's say you have like massive motivation to get loads more leads, for example, and you've got a marketing guy now, so you're not actually going to be doing it. Take the energy you would have put into doing whatever it is you need to do to get leads, whether it's write a blog post or whatever it is, and put that energy into becoming a master delegator to get the person who you've hired to do it. All right, so you can imagine like this metaphor and this attitude and approach will work whether you have a team of like 2 people, which is what I have at the moment, right? I've got just 2 people on my team. For the coaching business, for the Amazon business, I've got quite a few VAs, right? It'll be the same whether you have 2 people on your team or 200, right? It's just that the scale is different, right? So and the more people you have in your team, the less stuff you'll be doing directly yourself, the more stuff will be delegated, and the more stuff you'll have to delegate, and the more granular it will become. But it's exactly the same as being a solopreneur in that you know you have loads and loads of stuff to do, but instead of you putting in the grunt work, it's you becoming great at delegating and putting your energy, your hustle energy into being awesome at delegating. And this means like breaking things down into tasks that other people have to do, right? And use the scorecards to keep track of this. And then also making sure that they've done it and make sure that they have everything they need to do in order to do an incredible job. So those are 2 things, right? Become an amazing delegator right? Use that energy for delegation. Also, scorecards. And the third thing, which I've picked up recently actually from just speaking to a few people about this, is how do you motivate your team to continue to deliver to the highest standard? Because if they're not motivated, then, well, it's very unlikely that they're going to, show up and really work super hard on the stuff you give them, right? And I think the best way to motivate a team is to ask your individual team members what motivates them, right? This is a conversation I'm probably going to be having with a lot of my people on my team, right? And just asking them, what motivates you? And if you can find out what motivates them, it does two things. Number one, you find out what it is rather than trying to guess, right? Because you might try and figure out a way to motivate someone because everyone's different. Everyone has different desires and, things they get excited by. If you guess wrong, then it's not going to work, right? So you find out what it actually motivates them. Number two, you show that you actually care about making them happy and wanting them to feel fulfilled. And through that, they'll feel more motivated to want to work for you anyway, because they'll know that you actually care about them. And that's like one of the most important things when someone's in a job position, right? They want to know that the company cares for them and they are being appreciated, right? And in addition to these two things, if your company has a really strong vision and everybody's clear on that vision, and you have a clear set of values, like what you're for, what you're against, and your culture is kind of built around that, that makes all of this stuff even more powerful, right? It's just even more powerful. So I hope you found this video interesting. I don't know if you're at the point where you're thinking about transitioning from being a solopreneur to hiring maybe your first member of your team. Maybe you have a team right now and you're just looking for some inspiration about how to manage them even better than you're already doing. And either way, I hope this video really helped you. And if you could just do me a favor, write in a comment like the number one insight you've taken away from this video, that would be amazing, because sometimes it's difficult for me to know like what it is you find valuable, right? So I'd love to know what it is that you found valuable out of this video. That way I can kind of do more of that stuff, right? Once I get a clear idea of what's helping you, then I can do more of that, and that would be awesome, right? If anything, if it's just nice hearing someone else talk about this stuff, if that's it, great. If you picked up a tip, great. Anything that you found valuable would be awesome. All right, cheers for watching, and I'll catch you very soon.